हेलो, आवाज आ रही है? सुनाई दे रहा है ना? So my name is Ankit, and today I am going to set a stage on fire, as you can see here, right? So we are going to talk about Firebase and Angular and how to create a full stack application using Angular and Firebase. So we'll start. पहले पानी पीने दो यार, मछली खाने से ना प्यास बहुत लगता है. Okay. So we'll start. First of all, a little bit about myself. I am a software engineer at Cisco, and I am an author and a speaker, a Google developer expert for Angular, and a Microsoft MVP for developer technology. And here is my blog, ankitsharmablogs.com. You can go and read about blogs. So I write about C#, .NET, plus Angular, Firebase, Blazor, a lot of technology, mostly related to front end. Now, after me, you want to know about why you guys are here, right? So what we are going to do today. So we are going to create a full stack application using Angular and Firebase, and we are going to perform the CRUD operation, that is create, read, update, and delete. And then we are going to implement Google authentication. This is not a basic CRUD class that you can see on the YouTube also. We are going to go one step ahead, and we are going to implement Google authentication with the help of Firebase. And also we are going to host that particular application on Firebase. So again, just confirming your tech stack, we are going to use Angular on the UI database as a Google Cloud Firestore, and then hosting will be on the Firebase. Google Cloud Firestore is a NoSQL database. It stores your data in form of JSON key value pair. So we are going to see everything in action. So there are a few slides which I want to go through just to give you a just to warm you up, because I am a developer and I believe that no developer understands PPT. They understand code. So this is going to be a very live session. I am going to show everything right here, right now. Everything will be done here. So what is Firebase? Firebase is an app development platform which helps you to build and grow an app which your customer can love. It is developed by Firebase Inc. in 2014, and then 2011, and then acquired by Google in 2014. And then it is considered as backend as a service, BaaS. So it will provide you a complete backend which you can integrate with any kind of front end which you want, and then utilize it as it is. It is easy to use and scale also. So why should you use Firebase? So Firebase allows you to have swift development without you have to worry about managing the infrastructure, since it is built on the Google infrastructure, so it is very easy to scale and use. And it also provides support for various platforms such as iOS, Android, Flutter, web development, which we are going to see now, plus Unity also for game development. Now, Firebase provides you few products. Those products are categorized into 3 categories. The first one is the build category. The build category of products allow you to accelerate and scale web development without managing any kind of infrastructure. The second category is release and monitor. As the name suggests, it allows you to release your application with confidence and monitor the performance and stability of the application. And finally, we have the engage. Then again, as the name suggests, it allows you to boost the engagement of your application, do the A/B testing, and how to manage the campaigns on your application. So here is a sample table which will show you the few of the products in all the 3 categories, and at the end I have provided the official link, firebase.google.com. You can go over there and check all the list of the product with their complete details on what kind of service they provide, what kind of, how you can use it. So I would suggest all of you to take a photograph of this, and also keep your camera out, keep tweeting. There is a Twitter and LinkedIn at the bottom. Okay? And also at the end I am going to share a resources section where you can take the photograph, and you can, once you go home, you go and then complete the application, read more about it, and learn more about it. Okay, now coming to the dev part. That was what I just showed you was a theory. So theory is done. Now comes to the practical part. So since we are going to do UI development with Angular, so we'll be needing Node.js, which is required. And then we'll be using Visual Studio Code as our preferred IDE. You can use any other IDE also. Visual Studio Code is freely available. And also Angular CLI. Angular CLI allows you to create your Angular application with ease. Here are the required steps that we are going to follow now. First of all, we are going to create a project on the Firebase, and then we are going to configure the Cloud Firestore database on our project. Then we will enable the Google authentication for that particular project. Then we'll create an Angular application in our laptops, and then we'll connect that Firebase to our Angular application, and at the end, we'll deploy it, and we'll see everything in action in production. Before we start, I expect that you guys already know how to create Angular application, because to create and show those basic things will take a lot of time. So it is expected that we have already created the Angular application, and we have already installed few packages. So to work with Firebase in an Angular application, you need to install Firebase and Angular Fire package, which it is available on NPM, and you can install using this particular command. And since we are going to deploy the application on Firebase, so we'll be needing Firebase CLI. Firebase CLI allows you to talk with your Firebase instance. So that is also, we can install using this particular command. And the most important thing, demo time. Now wake up everybody. We are going to do some live coding. So here is my Firebase instance. You can go to console.a. Good. Now you can see, so console.firebase.google.com, that is the Firebase console. You can go over there, and you can see I have already created few projects. You click on this big add project button, and then enter your project name. So CCD Kolkata, right? That is a good name. Cool. Continue. Now in the next page, it will ask you to add Google Analytics for your Firebase application. Google Analytics is a tool by Google which allows you to track user interaction on your website, who is visiting on your website, from where they are visiting. We are not going to configure it because that is generally done for enterprise level application. Since it is a demo application, so we'll skip it. So close this and create project. It will take some time, and I will drink some water in that time. If it takes more time, I will drink more water. Okay. हो जाओ भाई, जल्दी हो जाओ. हाँ, your new project is ready. So continue. Now, once the project is ready, you are on the project overview page. This is the console for your particular project. You can see on the top there is a name CCD code which we have created, and beside that there is a name called a Spark plan. So Firebase has two plans. One is the Spark, which is free, and another one is paid, which I don't remember the name because I don't use the paid version. So anybody know the name? Blaze. Give this man a t-shirt. Who said first? You run, right? You said first, give this man a t-shirt. Who said first? Who was the person? You said first? This person. Give this man a t-shirt. Okay, awesome. Good. So on the left menu, you can see all the 4 categories of product over here which we discussed: build, release, and monitor, analytics, and engage. We'll go to build. In the build, we have authentication. So first of all, we are going to do over there. If you remember the slide, there we said that we are going to configure Google authentication on Firebase. This is how we are going to do. It says get started, so we'll start. We'll just follow whatever it says. It says get started, so start. Now, over here you can see that there are multiple providers available over here: Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, and other stuffs. We are not going to use any other. We are going to use Google. The reason is, Google authentication with Firebase is just a click of one single button. It's just a single click of button, it can be configured. So here we have to choose our provider, which is Google. And then it says enable. We will enable it. Then it says project support email. So I will give my email ID, which I have used to log in. So if you look here, I have logged in already. So I have already logged in. So it is expected that you log into your console.firebase.google.com. And then at the end, you click on save. And that is it. Google authentication has been enabled on your Firebase project. Now, how to integrate with Angular, we will see that later. It says Google enabled, that is good. Now, what is the next step? If you again remember that particular slide, we said that we are going to configure our database, which is Cloud Firestore. So it says Firestore database. Click on this. Again, it says create database. We'll create database. Just follow whatever it says. Now, very important thing. It says start in production mode, start in test mode. Now, this is a test environment. So if you click on start in test mode, it says your data is open, blah, blah, blah. But I am an enterprise level developer. I don't work in test mode. I work in production mode always. So we are going to start in production mode. However, we need to do some configuration later. We are going to do that later. Right now, we'll start in production mode for security. Click on next. It will say select your location. Once you set the location, you cannot change it later. So we'll select somewhere in Asia, which is near to our house. Click on enable. So again, we'll wait. आराम से धीरे धीरे करना सब कुछ, relax होके, chill. If internet is slow and takes more time, it is a fault of Anubhav, not my fault. So, अरे हो जाओ भाई, आओ, okay. Oh, good. The database is created. So I told you that it is a NoSQL database. We use JSON as a key value pair. So we have something called collection, and then inside collection we have something called document. So now there are two ways of working on data. One is you can send data from the client side to the server side. Like when I add something, add a new data, it will be updated over here. And another thing is there are some predefined data which you can pull from your database and show on the UI. So today I am going to create an employee management system where you can add, remove, delete, and edit a particular employee record. And in that there will be a form, a Angular form. And in that form there will be a drop down. The drop down will allow you to select city, which city the employee is from. So that list of cities will be configured over here. Right now I will be configuring it. So start collection. So start collection, and we'll write the name city. Next. Document ID, data auto ID. And once you click that, document is created, you have to create the field name. So I will use the field name as city name. I will copy it so that I can use it again. Type of a string value. So we'll start with Mumbai. Let's say that. And once you do that, you can see that a collection called city is created. Inside that collection, there is a document created. The document has a unique ID, which we have just selected, and there is a field called city name Mumbai. Again, we'll add few more data over here. Data auto, this will be auto ID document, field name, and value will be, let's say, Hyderabad. My favorite city is Hyderabad. Sorry, Kolkata people. Okay, so we have added 2 cities. More we'll add later. So you will understand 2 cities. So this is done. We have done the configuration. We have created a Firebase project. We have enabled the authentication. We have added a Cloud Firestore. We have created our collection which I want to add in my application. This is done. Now we'll move to Angular side of the work. So and also remember we have added some rules which in production mode. So again we'll be visiting that later in some time. Now I already have Visual Studio Code open in my machine. One more important thing. So how your Angular application is going to talk to Firebase? How does your Angular application know that I have to talk to this particular project? I have to talk to this particular project, like what is the project name? CCD Kolkata. So how your application talk to? There must be some API key. There must be some communication channel. So for that we have to create the key. So click on this button. Go to project settings. Scroll down, and here it says there are no apps in your project. And here it will say multiple options. If you hover over there, it says iOS, this is Android, this is web, this is Unity, and this is Flutter. What we are using? We are using web. So I will click on web over here. It will ask for some name. So you can use the same name or you can use a different name. CCD Kolkata, we'll use the name. And click on register app. And once you click on register app, it will give you a set of keys which you can use to integrate to your web application. So it is showing blue loader, and here you can see the complete Firebase configuration is present over here. We will copy this particular thing, which contains your API key, your domain name, project ID, you can see a storage bucket, and a lot of other data. So we are going to configure this particular data in my Angular application, and then when I run the Angular application know where to talk to and whom to talk to. So this is our communication channel. And where we can do that? We are going to do that in environment.ts file. So this is an old application. Read this, add this, save it. We already have added Firebase config as key, and we are going to copy this for production also. Ideally, in an ideal world scenario, the key for environment and environment.prod.ts should be different. However, in this particular setup, we can use the same so that once we deploy, you can see the difference. Now it is done. So right now we have configured the key. But again, how your Angular application talks. So if you know Angular, you know that the first thing to run is app.module.ts when your app launches. So inside app.module.ts, we will import the Angular Fire module from this particular path, and then this particular line number 26, is going to tell you how your Angular application should talk to your which Firebase configuration. So here I have added the initialize app function, and then I am passing the configuration name. So this is environment.firebase-config, which is configured over here. The key name is Firebase config. You can use any key name of your choice. It is my preference, I use Firebase config. Now, once you have created this particular configuration, as soon as your application launch, this module will be executed, and then it will talk to your Firebase project which you have created. Now we are going to go through some services which I have already created. So this is going to be a CRUD operation on employee data. So we have created functions for that. First of all, get city list method. If you remember, we have just created a collection with the name city. Now here you can see that I have used AFS. AFS is just a shorthand for Angular Firestore name, the service injection which we did for the Angular Firestore. And here we have afs.collection, and this model which I have already created. There are two models created. One is for city, which contains the city ID and city name. Another one is for employee, which contains employee ID, name, city, department, and the gender. In the service file, where is the service file? Here. In the service file, I am using collection city, and here I am passing the name of the collection. This particular name, if you go, you can see that we have created in our database, right? The same name we have created over here. Okay. Internet is failing, but we'll try again. Yeah, the name collection is same, city. Okay, so we'll get a get city list function. Similarly, we have save employee function. Now, there is an interesting part. Here you can see that I have used afs.collection, and I have given the name of collection as employee. But I have not created the employee collection on the Firebase. So how it is going to work? The thing is, when this application is run for the first time and I save the record for the first time, it will check if the collection exists or not. If the collection exists, it will add the employee data. If the collection does not exist, first it will create the collection with the name employee and then add the employee data. So that is how we are going to control it from our application. Similarly, we have get all employees. It will fetch the list of all the employees, and here also I am using order by name. So it is by default sorted. So here you can use any order by name. Name is the field of one of the employee record. If you go to the model, in the model you can see we have ID, name, city, department, and gender. I am going to sort using name, so that we can do. Similarly, we have get employee by ID, so we'll pass the employee ID, and from the employee collection, we'll pass that employee ID and we'll get the employee data. Similarly, update employee, we'll get the employee data, and we will update the employee collection with that on that particular employee ID, because to use the edit functionality, you need the employee ID. Otherwise, which one you are going to update to? So that is why we have to pass the employee ID also in the update function, and then the complete employee object. And finally, the delete employee. So simply, we'll go to that particular employee collection, we'll pass the employee ID, and then delete it. So that is how we are going to, we have written the service. If you do not understand this service, you do not have to worry at all. Just watch it like a movie. At the end, I am going to share all the resources with the GitHub link and all the deployed resources. You can go over there. All the helpful comments are written. You can read and understand it completely. Then we have the auth service. So if you remember, we talk about authentication in Firebase. So how we are going to do that? So I have created a login function. So first of all, let us understand what is return URL. When somebody is trying to go to a URL which is restricted, then the application will not allow the user to go to that particular URL. It will set a return URL query parameter in the URL bar of the browser. We are going to see this in action also. We are going to store that in local storage, and then we are going to call sign in with pop-up function of our Angular Fire auth class. Sign in with pop-up, the name suggests, when you click on the login button, a pop-up will open and it will ask you to log in with Google. Again, we are going to see that in action. Then it will ask you for authentication using Google provider. Similarly, if you delete this function, you can see that there are a lot of providers, email provider, Facebook, Google, GitHub, all these things are available over there. So we are using Google, hence we are using the Google auth provider. And at the logout, we are going to sign out from here. We are called the sign out function. There's an interesting update user data function. So what is this? Let us understand this. What we are going to do is, it is very specific to the application which I am going to build. We are going to store the login information of all the user who is visiting my application. So I am going to store name, email, and photo URL. So when you log in with your Gmail account, these data is publicly available, and I am going to store it in my database to see who is visiting my application. That's why I have written this function, and it is going to create a separate document for us. So this is all about auth service. Finally, we have the auth-guard, and in the auth-guard, so auth-guard is used to restrict the action to a particular URL based on the authentication state of the particular user. So here we are going to check if the user is authenticated or not. If the user is authenticated or not. Once the user is authenticated, we are going to check the return URL. It is important to check over here. So if you remember, we have set the return URL in local storage if the user is not authenticated. In that particular case, we will check if the return URL exists, user will be navigated to over there. If it does not exist, user will be navigated to /. / stands for home. Now we'll go to the app module. In the app module, I have already created some routes here, and I am going to add the can activate root guard. So can activate means, can we activate this particular route or not? And here I have used the auth-guard class, which we have just seen. So based on the rules over here, these routes will be available. Now I have created components for nav. So this is login and logout. You will be seeing some login button, logout button, and the username over there. So that is not too much important. The important thing is this employee form component over here. So here you can see that from the employee service, we are calling the getCityList function to get the list of city over here. And in the HTML, we are creating a select using ng for loop. And this data, this particular data is coming from the Cloud Firestore database that we have created. For all the city name is coming from there. So that is how it is a standard Google form. Not Google form, it's standard Angular form. And here, all the fields are required. It has name, gender, department, and city. There are 4 fields, and all the fields are required. I have added the required field validation over there. So this is all about a function. So we are going to quickly see the demo. What we have created is working or not. So anybody know how to run an Angular application? How to run an Angular application? Let's ask this person. What is the command, sir? Can you tell me?
ng-serve.
That is good. Give this man a t-shirt. So there is this person says ng-serve, so I will use it. So it is going to serve our application in our local host. So it is generating and something, it is done. Again, go to here, click on localhost. Here you can see that it says loading, because we have not created a single application. We have not added any data till now. It is just created. It is empty. Now, if you go to our Cloud Firestore, let me refresh the page. I don't know why this happens. Maybe Firebase is down or something, but this is very weird. I am seeing this for the first time. I don't know. Let's try that. So I will click on login. Okay, I will go to inspect first, and you will see some error. What it says? Missing or insufficient permission. You remember we started in production mode. So now we have to change that. Okay, we'll do that. How to change that? I have written a note over here. In the note, I have written the command. So I will copy this command, and I will go to this rules. Okay, in the rules it says allow read, write if false. I will delete this. Sorry, I will just, read will be allowed for everybody. Read will be allowed for everybody, but write will be allowed only if it is authenticated, if the request auth.uid is not equals to null. So what is the, okay, so this is saved. Now I go over here and I will run it again, and I hope that error should go away. Could not reach Cloud Firestore, connection failed. The internet is not working, it seems. So I am not sure about it. Let me check Google. Okay, it is working. I am not sure what is the problem over here. For some reason, the Firebase is not working. Okay, we can see some table. Let me click on login. If I click on login, a pop-up will open. If you remember, we use sign in with pop-up. It will ask me to log in with Google account. These are my some of the Google account. I will use, let's say, this one. Let's see if Firebase is working or not. You can see there, you can see a small picture is shown. You see that? And there's a logout button, there's an add employee button. Earlier, that add employee button was not there. This happened after we have done the authentication. We'll go to add employee, and there is a form. Click on save, all the fields are required, that as we discussed. Now city field. This is the problem. See this, the city field is, for some reason, it is not working. It should show the list of city over here. But I am not sure why it is not showing. Come again?
Hello, the city is in the uppercase in the code itself. It should be in the lower case. In the code, in the code.
In the code, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yes. Where is that? Good.
Now it should work.
Thank you. Give this man a t-shirt. This person helped me. You see this? Thank you, man. What is your name? Sohan. भाई t-shirt दे दो भाई, इसको 10-12 t-shirt दे दो. Okay, cool. Actually, this is a very good point. You know, when you are presenting, it is very small thing which you can easily miss. The case, especially C, it looks same every time. Okay, so we have added 2 cities, right? And you can see those 2 cities over there. So I am going to add something. So, sir, in the front, sir, what is your name? चाचा, मोबाइल मत देखिए आप. आपका नाम क्या है? नाम बताइए सर. अभिषेक. अच्छा. अभिषेक. आपका जेंडर? अच्छा, ठीक है. आप डेवलपर बनना चाहते हैं आगे चल के? सिटी हम आपका हैदराबाद सेलेक्ट कर देते हैं, बाकी बाद में देख लेंगे. Please give this man a t-shirt. Please give this man a t-shirt. So we click on save. Once we click on save, what is the problem? Again, database down or something? I don't know why this is acting weird. Let me try this again. Ideally, it should work, right? Say, but okay, I remember. I forget to uncomment few parts of the code. Let me uncomment this, and it should work. Okay, so this is uncommented, and in the home also for delete. So I have commented few part of the code. I was doing some testing, and it should work ideally. Let's see that. Let's see if I am able to add the name of Abhishek in my database or not. Yes, it is added. You can see that Abhishek and all the data is over here. Now, very interesting part. as soon as I log out, the edit and delete button will go, because I am not allowed to edit and delete. That is one point. Next point is, if I click add employee, it will set a return URL. You look at the top. It says return URL, because I am not logged in. If I am not logged in, I am not allowed to go to that page. As soon as I log in, it will automatically redirect me to the add employee page. So I click over here, it will redirect me to that add employee form page. You see that it is redirecting there? So this is how the authentication works over here. Now I have added the name of one employee in our database. Here you can see currently the collection is app, user, and city. If I refresh the page, you can see that an employee collection is already added with one particular set of data. Employee collection is already added over here, and it has the name of Mr. Abhishek, Hyderabad, Dev, whatever the data I have created and added over here. Now, interesting part. So here there are two cities, Hyderabad and Mumbai, but your favorite city is missing from here, right? So we'll add that. And as soon as I click on save over here, if I click on this drop down, you can see the name Kolkata is already over here without me refreshing the page. This is very important to understand that the data is pushed from the server to the client. So that is how the sync is happening always. Now, if I go to the home and try to change the gender of Abhishek, sorry Abhishek. So, okay, let's not change the gender, otherwise Abhishek will feel bad. Let's make him lead. So Abhishek is a dev lead. I click on update, I go here, and it is updated over here. So you can see the data is in sync always. So that is the beauty of Firebase. You update on the UI, it got updated to backend. If you click on the change anything on the backend, it updates automatically on the UI without refreshing the page. This is very important. So this is all about the demo. You have seen the authentication, you have seen the edit and delete will obviously work the same way. So if I click on edit, instead of Hyderabad, I click on Kolkata, click on save, and it will update it, and delete again. So if I click on delete, so it will work. Since there is only one data, so I'm not going to do that. This is all. Finally, I am going to do the deployment. There is one final thing. You will get everything what you are promised of. Sab milega. So, to deploy an Angular application, first of all, you have to build it in the production build. What is the command to build an Angular application production build? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. Let's give him the mic. We'll see what he's saying.
ng build -- prod.
What you said? Come again. Come again.
ng build.
ng build
-- production mode. Prod. PROD.
Okay. What you are saying, sir?
Init deploy something like that.
What?
Init deploy.
No. What you said is partially correct. Anybody who know the complete answer? What you said is partially correct. Can we give him half T-shirt? Is it possible? Not possible. Okay, give this man a T-shirt. That is fine. ng build -- prod is an old command. Now that prod flag has been removed, so you have to use ng build. So I click ng build. I click on ng build, and it start building. It will take a few minutes. And let it go through. Yes, it is done. Now, we will go to our application. So this is the application I have created. Here you can see that there is a dist folder created. You see this? So dist stands for distribution. So whatever the build package, after running the ng build command, there is a package created. So how Angular works is that Angular uses TypeScript as a language. However, when it runs in the browser, it runs as a JavaScript package. So ng build command will convert everything into TypeScript to JavaScript. Everything is available under this dist folder. In this folder, here you can see there are a lot of JS packages. Now, inside this dist folder, we are going to run the command prompt. And here we are going to follow some things. First of all, I have already installed Firebase CLI, so I'm going to use some command. First is Firebase login. Firebase login. We'll need Firebase login. It always said that you are already logged in with this particular email ID. I have used the same email ID to log into Firebase console and to create the application CCD Kolkata. So you have to make sure if you are not logged in, it will open a prompt and it will ask you to log in. Now, Firebase init. It is very simple. I will make you remember. So after you have logged in, what is the first step? Initialize it. So initialize is Firebase init. It will ask you, Are you ready to proceed? Yes, I am ready to proceed. Now it will give you a lot of options, what features you want to use. I want to host it. So if you use the arrow key, go to this option, it says hosting, configure files for Firebase hosting, and optionally set the GitHub action deploy. We are not going to set any kind of GitHub action, we are just going to deploy it. So use arrow key to navigate and use space to save it. Click on enter. Now, use an existing project or a new project. So I want to use an existing project. Click on enter. It will list out all the projects in my Firebase application, which using this particular email ID which I have used to log in. So which one we have created? This one, right? CCD Kolkata, which we have created. Again, enter. This means I am going to deploy this particular application to this CCD Col project. Now it says, what do you want to use as public directory? So if you see over here, we have this FB CRUD. This is a folder name which is created. Inside that folder, all my package is there. I want to deploy this package. So I will copy this name. Okay, I will copy this name and I'll paste it over here. Configure a single page application. Yes, sir. I want to configure a single page application. Set up automatic build and deploy with GitHub. No, I don't want to. It says file index.html already exists. Override yes or no. Very important point to note that is, in a single page application, there is only one HTML file. That is called index.html. And that is why it is called single page application. The name itself is single page application. It says index.html already exists. Do you want to override? I don't want to override. The reason is I have already created a production build, and inside that production build there is an index.html which is specific to my Angular application which I have created. I do not want to override. I want to use the same one. That is why enter. Firebase initialization complete. Final command, Firebase deploy, because we want to deploy, right? Firebase deploy. Enter and wait for a few seconds. Deploying to CCD Col, deploy hosting something percentage, it will go to 100 and then, very good. It is completed. It says deploy complete hosting URL also it is giving. You copy this particular hosting URL and go to browser, paste and open, and here you can see Mr. Abhishek name is present over here. You see that? This is what we have created in our local host, and this is what we have deployed. The application is working perfectly fine, which is same as in the local. Click on login. Login with your Gmail ID, any Gmail ID which you want, and you can perform add, edit, delete, everything. You can see edit, delete, add employee, everything available over here. So this is all about my talk. When we started, we discussed about creating a Firebase Angular application using Firebase for configuration. We want to deploy it. We want to use authentication. Everything is configured over here. Now, the thing is that you might not remember everything, which I understand. It's like almost 35 minutes I have been here, and in 35 minutes, it's very difficult to remember everything. So for that, I have a answer for you. So everything which we discussed over here is available. So we have GitHub repos. I want everybody, you to please click a picture of this. The application which I have created is already available on GitHub. The link is over there. The app demo, that the app I have created is available over there. It is deployed, and there are slides for this particular talk is available at this bit.ly Firebase CRUD, this place. So slide is not too much important, but GitHub repo and app demo is important. Also, you can go to ankitsharmablogs.com, which is my personal blog, and you can also connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. That is all. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.